16b, which is equal strings, asks us to write a method called equals. So it's going to be a public static, and I'm not sure if it's void or anything, but it says it returns true actually. So returning true or false means it's going to be Boolean, and it's called equals. This is going to be our method header. It takes in two string arrays. So that means we're going to have a string with these two brackets, and we'll just do 1 and then string 2. So these two arrays return true if they're equal, and that's if they have the same length and contains equivalent string values at each index. So first let's check their length. And actually maybe we don't even need to check their length. We can just look and check to make sure that every single character is the same. If they have 0 length though, that might be a problem, so we might have to implement that. But let's see if this works first. Let's do a little test run of this. So for, and we'll just have some arbitrary value, int a is equal to 0, and we want to run this as long as a is less than. Now actually, here's the thing. We do want to check their lengths, because if they don't have the same lengths, this could mess up this for loop. Just think if one has a little bit less and one has a little bit more, and we pick the one that has a little bit less, well, it could be equal up until the end of the string. So let's say string 1 has 6 characters in it. String 2 has 8 characters. If we use string 1's length, only the first 6 characters are going to be compared here, and we would still return true, right? Even though we haven't looked at the last two because we're using this length. So we are going to have to check the length. So before we get into this loop, we'll say if our 1.length does not equal to 2.length, and you can do equals as well. You'll just have to change what the return type is. But if they do not equal each other, we are going to return false. If we said that they do equal each other, we're not returning anything. We would just move on to the next step. So we would kind of encase this inside of here. But this is the easiest way to do it. If 1 does not equal 2 lengthwise, we return false. Now we can assume that they both have the same length, and we can use either one of their lengths. So a is less than 1.length, and we want to run this as long as a plus plus, and that's pretty much it for our header. Don't forget your parenthesis. So inside of here, what we're going to want to do is compare these, right? So if the index of this array is equal to the index in this array, we want to just keep looking at the next one, right? So if 1 at index a is well, actually let's handle a false case, because if it's false, we're just going to immediately return false. If the element at this index does not equal to the element at this index, which it should, we return false. Otherwise, we're going to just keep going on and on and on, and eventually we'll break out of this for loop. And if we break out of this for loop, well, that means they do have the same length, all of their characters are the same, so we should return true. Let's submit this, see what we get. We can't find a length. Maybe we don't need parentheses for this type string right here. Let's get rid of these parentheses. And I think because it is a array type, we don't need the method parentheses right there. So we're just going to do dot length. That passed the 8 out of 8 tests. If you have any questions on how we did this, you can always leave them in the comments below. That's self-check 7.6 or 7.16b equals strings, and I hope that helped.